boom, 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 boom. No, we don't own the rights to that. I better not say that.
What were you going to go with?
I can't say it.
Oh,
I can't say it. Welcome to Chat with the Docs. You've chosen to spend another hour with us, and wow, someone's already joined us. Mom must have figured out her new phone. Welcome to Chat with the Docs. I'm Mo, the acupuncturist here at the Siloam Center for Traditional Medicine. I almost forgot where we were. And you are?
I'm the chiropractor here at the Siloam Center.
And you're not yourself today, are you?
No?
Can I call you Alfonso?
Alfonso? Is my earrings or what?
No, I just taking advantage. This is Dr. Noel. She didn't say that. So I'm going to say it.
I thought I did.
Maybe you did. I'm not myself today either. Hi, my name is Alfonso P. Finley.
So you need to take the half and half. The decaf isn't going to be enough.
Oh, the decaf will be plenty. Oh, contraire, contraire. This is the only show on YouTube where you get to call in and talk to a couple of quacks. But we're not flying south for the winter. You get to talk to a chiropractor and ask her field of expertise. You get to talk to an Oriental medical guy, me.
That's super cool.
Wow, I've finally been associated with something super cool.
Yeah, super cool.
So the phone number to get a hold of us is 608-314-8791. Otherwise, we will be going off of our list of emails that we've gotten over the last week, the last 7 days, the last half fortnight. Hey, you got to be specific. This is showbiz,
we're
lady.
We're going in fortnight intervals now?
Well, there is a big push to go to metric. So anyway, you've chosen to hang out with us. Why, I don't know, but I sure thank you for it. So we had some giveaways, and I was going to announce the winner last week, but we didn't get around to it. So for one of the giveaways that we did back in July, maybe August, a while ago, it took us a while to get a like and a subscribe. But the winner is Design Koba. And you have won, I think, a Bee Rescued Propolis Rescue Balm, cool, which is phenomenal stuff. And that will be shipped out to you, probably leaving the office here tomorrow. We wanted to announce it here on Chat with the Docs.
Super cool. That'll be the line today. You guys can keep count. Games as you will. This
is why I'm not drinking caffeinated coffee. She said super cool. I'm nutty enough without it. So the weather's turned.
Yes.
It's gray. We've got a nice thick layer of strata clouds. They're low. Mm-hmm. The mold count is really high.
Yeah, the mold's loving it.
The mold's going to have to pay royalties to McDonald's because that's their line.
Mold thinks it's super cool.
So
it's over lunch hour.
It is.
Who knows what's happening on the other side of the camera?
Well, there's two of them now. The others might be too inebriated to find the button. So the mold count is high. The light is now changing. The angle of the sun is changing. The temperature's changing. We've got allergens that are high. They're starting to harvest corn, which means that they've been spraying, in many places, they've been spraying them with glyphosate as a desiccant to kill everything and dry things out, especially formulated desiccant. So you've got these environmental toxins that are high. You've got mold that are high. You've got allergens that are still high. And you've got temperature changes and lighting changes.
Did you start to feel more tired this weekend? more than usual?
My other job is a rabbi. It's the high holy days. I'm tired.
Yeah, you've got a busy one.
So I can't be objective and say that it was all of these factors.
I could feel it.
Could you?
Mm-hmm.
I can see it in patients, and the light, the what are those green things out there that are flat and hanging off of trees?
Leaves.
Super cool. And
Good thing we got a backup coffee for
those,
this. You need a little
yes,
refill.
the leaves have just started changing. So there's some very, very early changes that are taking place. And all of that to say is, if you are feeling like you've been hit by a truck and can't keep your eyes open, if your hair is starting to fall out more than normal, don't panic. This is pretty normal for this time of year. This is the type of stuff that affects thyroid, like we talked about last week. So what you need to be doing is make sure you're getting regular sleep, make sure you're eating good, clean food, and start upping your vitamin D dose. Right now, you should be taking about 15,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. And I know that all of the MDs that were, morbidly curious to try to turn this on and say, what are these quacks talking about? Now they're hanging up, which is why we just lost someone. See you, Doc. Start taking your vitamin D. And then by mid-November, I would have my patients up to about 20,000 units of vitamin D a day.
And you can, because we're not getting the sunlight.
You're not getting sunlight. And especially if you're on cholesterol medicines. If you're on cholesterol medicines, you should be taking 15 to 20,000 IUs of vitamin D anyway, because your cholesterol medicine's ripping it right out of you. Vitamin D is a cholesterol. And if you're on statin drugs, Crestor, what was the Captain Kirk's replacement that was selling? He was shilling for the statin companies.
I don't know, but he was super cool.
I thought he was a nerd, but I'm not a Trekkie. So if I were a Trekkie, I would know his name.
I'm not a Trekkie. I'm probably too young for that too.
But you thought he was. Watch this. This is where a thesaurus comes in handy. I thought you said he was the equivalent of uber cool.
I might have to take a bathroom break in the middle of this if we keep going at this rate.
Hey, I didn't say,
Oh, I know you didn't.
I used a synonym.
You did.
And, this being fall, everyone wants to put cinnamon on everything. So, our first question. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
You're not on the edge of your seat. She's on the edge of her seat, everybody. Mark in Cleveland, Ohio. Greetings, Mark. Thank you for watching. Says, I have diabetes and am overweight. I have started in with what my doctor is calling a neuropathy in my feet. There is burning and tingling in my toes, especially when they get cold. The doctor wants to put me on gabapentin. That is going to be one more pill that I have to take. Is this starting to sound familiar? I already take pills for my diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, and heartburn. Mark, I'll bet the heartburn pill came first with all of these, right? Is there something that you guys do that would help me? Chiropractic, acupuncture, we can address a lot of these issues. I'm going to let you take it, Doc.
Big thing with all these, you're having metabolic syndrome, you're inflamed. You need to get the weight under control, and then things will start to clear and you can take care of them. The gabapentin's for nerve. You are having nerve issues, but the gabapentin's like putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not going to take away the cause of all this.
All of your meds. I look at your list of meds here, and all of them are Band-Aid type stuff. Now, you can't stop the heart medicine at this point. You need it right now. But you need to get with a qualified acupuncturist or chiropractor or a tag team. If you were closer than Ohio's a long way to commute. If you were closer, we'd have you in here and we'd be working on you. First thing I would do is I would get rid of your proton pump inhibitor, your omeprazole, and we would figure out some other means of controlling that, because number one, that is throwing off the absorption of all of your heart medicine, and nobody's checked this. It's throwing, and that's why you're constantly having to get more blood pressure medication. It's throwing off your insulin and how that's getting absorbed. It's throwing off everything. Then your cholesterol drug is interacting with things, and it's also contributing to the neuropathy. Everyone thinks that neuropathy is strictly a diabetes thing. No, it's not. You want to fix that? Go on take 2 months. Do nothing but eat dark green leafy vegetables, steam them a little bit or stir fry them a little bit, and clean grass-fed organic red meat. And if you can get organ meat, so much the better. And eat 2/3 of your plate the green leafy vegetable, 1/3 of your plate the organ meat. Or if you can't find that, just some lean red meat that's grass-fed organic. Do that for a month or two. You'll watch your cholesterol numbers come down. You'll watch your diabetes numbers stabilize.
The scale's gonna
start coming down. But we have damage and inflammation in the nerves going into your feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you're going to need somebody that can slip some needles, some shards of hot iron into your hide. They can put the needles in you, and they can get that circulation flowing back into the feet, because it's the inflammation in the nerves is there because there's not enough blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to increase blood flow to that region. Acupuncture is a neurovascular medicine. You've heard me say it. How many times have we done this show now? All summer long, you've heard me say that. I'd have to take off my shoes and socks, and that's not right.
It's true, though. You got to get things under control, and once one thing starts clearing, you'll see that trickle down.
And there's no one pill that you can take to fix this. It's not a one and done with anything.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a process, and it's a lifestyle. And so we have to make changes. If we don't, Mark, you're just going to go downhill. The other thing is, I would strongly recommend finding somebody that can check you for Lyme disease, because, you might be trying to do everything right, but the Lyme disease has messed up your body so much that you can't do nothing right.
Mm-hmm. Or you're not feeling good when you're trying and you give up
too
soon.
Yeah. Excuse me. That's super cool. Actually, why are we drinking when I say it? We should only be drinking when you say it.
I think it's when anybody says it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh. See, I never did this stuff before. Hey, look, a hawk. Did I mention I'm ADD?
Well, you went to college for a long time, didn't you?
A long time, yes.
Well, you had something similar.
No, actually, we didn't. I was very boring. I initially went to college to be a missionary pilot.
That's cool.
Which meant that the first year of school, we were taking gen eds and out at the airport flying airplanes 3-4 times a week, which was great fun. The second year, you didn't take any gen eds because you got all your gen eds out of the way in the first year, and you were doing airframe and power plant for that second year. So you were studying to be an airplane mechanic. And the neat thing about that training was, instead of just teaching you like commercial aviation, the procedures, they were teaching you the basics like that. But then they would teach you, okay, now you got to learn how to land when there's no runway. They would take you and put you through more realistic scenarios. They had us training out of a field that was the commercial flight instructors that a friend of mine eventually had to finish with. They refused to fly into the field because it was too tight. They were training you for being a bush pilot is what they were doing. And then with the airframe and power plant training, they were training you to not identify what part is broken and swap it out, but they were identify the part, identify the component within the part, and can you fix it? What do you have laying around that you can fix it? So it was cool. I loved it. It was great for my ADD. And then the school sold all of our airplanes out from under us and shut down the program, which is why I came back to Jamesburg.
Where was that at?
That was in Michigan,
Okay.
but pretty place to be flying in the early fall.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Shall we take another question?
One question line.
Well, let's do this. We've decided. There's 5 of you following us on YouTube right now. Wow, the count's going up. That's I am speechless. It's more than Mom. It's more than my wife. It's more than John. That's normally the 3. So there's 2 of you that are unexplained. You have lousy choice in YouTube. We've decided that instead of doing giveaways for liking, subscribing, and following, or commenting, I'm a lousy YouTuber. What can I say? Alas, I'm a failure. We've decided instead of that, we are going to every week have a conundrum for you. Da, 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 da.
So we really like the word.
I do. It's easy to spell. It's an O and a bunch of U's and a drum.
Super cool.
So every week we're going to do a conundrum from henceforth and until we get kicked off of YouTube. By the way, did we get any cease and desist letters this week?
Drum way.
Hey, if you don't read them, you got plausible deniability, right?
Hey, the post office hasn't been very accurate lately, so who's to say?
Well, I think they're just mad at us that we filmed their guy going into the John. Seriously, watch one of the previous videos. We were doing a Lime interview and the postman came in. That was, I still am amazed at that.
Hey, Mr. Postman.
So, starting today, we're going to do a conundrum because, someone else did a puzzler, so we're going to do a conundrum. Today's category for the conundrum is pediatrics.
Okay.
Ooh.
Babies.
So, I'm going to read the conundrum. And then if you know the answer, you're going to just stuff it for a week.
Oh, I can't say it.
You can't say it.
Oh, okay.
No, because what's going to happen is you guys at home are going to write your answer either in the comments section or email it to us, or preferably write it on the inside of the hood of a 1967 Mustang. Do you want this one?
The car?
You send
Sure.
it care of Dr. Noel, a 1967 Mustang, write in a silver Sharpie marker under the hood the answer to the conundrum, okay? So, I have in my never nicotine-stained fingers, extra credit if you know where that one came from. A mother brought her 5-year-old son into the acupuncturist. Who would bring their 5-year-old into an acupuncturist? A good mother would. I have treated everyone from about 5 weeks old all the way up to a lady in her late 90s. Acupuncture is family medicine.
It's for everyone.
The child had been feeling poorly and had a slight fever with a slight sore throat. COVID. No, it's not COVID. See, this is what decaf does to me. Imagine if I had the other swill.
That's next.
The little one came in with a slight fever, a slight sore throat. A sore throat. Kiddo had a sore throat. The patient was congested and starting to have a bit of a cough. Dr. Alfonso P. Gesundheit. Ooh. Wonder where he studied. Rotterdam, 1967. That's the Mustang that we want. Our Dr. Alfonso P. Gesundheit, our illustrious and cavity-free acupuncturist, in this conundrum, he felt the child's hands. He looked at the child, and he felt the child's hands, and he felt that the child's fingers were normal in size, no swelling, the temperatures were all normal, and the color was normal, all except the child's middle finger on the right hand. That middle finger on the right hand was warm. Dr. Gesundheit said, "Aha! I know what ails the lad." The conundrum is, what was it? What was Dr. Gesundheit, Dr. Alfonso P. Gesundheit, our cavity-free and illustrious acupuncturist, what was his diagnosis? I'm going to write it down. Well, I'm going to tear it off of what was above our... I'm going to tear off the top so that way we still have our questions. And without Dr. Noel looking, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to seal it up later. For now, I'm going to tuck it right here.
At least you're honest.
But later, it's going to go into an envelope, and it's going to be sealed, and we will open it next week, and you will see that Dr. Noel has not opened it, and she will tell us what her findings are. And we'll see if she got it right. We'll see if any of you got it right. Super cool. Wow, we're up to 6. YouTube's reaching a new low. Okay. Cindy in Pie Town, New Mexico. I have been through Pie Town.
Have you?
I have. I have been through Pie Town. I went through Pie Town about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I used to have a job. I used to be employed. I used to have a job where I was in sales. And I would have to go down into the Southwest and visit all the different natural health stores. I loved going to the Sprouts Farmers Markets, and we were down there visiting the Sprouts. And we decided to take an extra couple days and go a long way around. And we were going over from Texas, and we were heading into Arizona. But we went through, and so you go down through Santa Fe and Albuquerque, and you head south a little bit more, and I think it's Socorro, and you hang right, I think, and you go up by the Large Array Radio Telescope. Beautiful, beautiful valley up there. And then before you get up into Arizona, you get into this beautiful ranch country, and you get to this place called Pie Town. In fact, we stopped at a Walmart in Pie Town to get toothbrushes because we'd lost our toothbrushes.
No pie, though?
No, we didn't get pie in Pie Town. But Pie Town has a very interesting history. We won't go into that because, we got questions to answer. Anyway, Cindy, I'm so glad you wrote into us because, I like Pie Town. It's a beautiful place. She says, she writes. Actually, she didn't write. She typed. She types. I keep hearing that marks on my fingernails mean something. Hero, this is where you can insert that clip from Close Encounters where he's got the pile of potatoes and he says, "This is important. This means something." Okay. Marks on fingernails mean something. For years now, my nails have broken easily and bent back easily. What is going on? Well, Cindy, you are in luck because I have an answer for you. Do you have an answer?
Mm-hmm.
Do you care to share that answer?
I
or
didn't
do you
know
want
if
me
I
to...
could or not.
You can.
Anemia.
Well, that's a potential.
With iron.
That's a potential.
Bending back of fingernails just kind of makes me cringe, though.
Well,
I feel bad for her.
It makes me think of the IRA. And I'm not talking about an investment option. I'm talking about the Irish Republican Army. They were brutal. Anyway, that's one of the options is anemia. Often your fingernails will be very, very brittle or bendy. But yes, marks on fingernails mean something. They're important. So Usually, if you get white marks on your fingernails, these little white dots, that can be from traumas to the finger, which they are in my case, or it can be from a zinc deficiency. And if you have a zinc deficiency, then you have to say what's taking the zinc from your body. Usually that one would look at potential for parasites. But that's not the only thing we look for. We also look for
spooning.
Spooning, yes. Spooning, where the thumb spoon. And that usually has to do with a pulmonary issue. Especially when you see it, and you'll see that a lot in little kids and in old folks. Old folks with COPD, little kids with asthma. You can also get little indentations, and it's neat because they kind of come in patterns. Those are also indicative of parasitic infection, nutrient malabsorption.
Pitting, kind of, right? Pitting of the nails.
Pitting, yes. Pitting.
Pitting of the nails.
Pitting of the nails. Right, that on the underside of a 1967 Mustang. Pitting. You can also get the striations. Now, as an acupuncturist, as an Oriental medical expert, boy, did I cheapen that. We look at your fingernails, and when we notice the fingernails are dry and brittle, or they have the long striations in them, we look at that, and to us, we look at that as a sign of liver health. So when your nails are real brittle and they breaking easily, we look at that and we look for other signs of liver blood deficiency. Are there floaters in your eyes? Do you have pain in your body? Do you have anxiety, dream disturbed sleep, things like that? Can it be fixed? Oh, of course it can. There's a wonderful herb called dangui, and it's not something you want to take by itself, but it's something you want to take in formula, the correct formula based on your pulse as read by a qualified Oriental medical expert. But oftentimes we'll prescribe an herbal formula with dangui in it. Dangui is an blood building and blood moving herb. It's when you purchase the raw form of it, it's you look at it and you say someone trimmed their yard. It looks like little slivers of tree bark. And it's got this really pungent, sweet, sharp flavor. And it's kind of addictive in a strange way. Not that the herb itself has addictive behaviors, but that flavor when you're chewing on the raw dangui. But we would normally use a formula with dangui in it and some other blood-building, blood-moving herbs, because when you have blood deficiency, you're going to have a blood stagnation and a qi stagnation. And when there is a blood stagnation, you're going to start having sharp pains. Oftentimes, this goes along with gynecological disorders.
Okay.
Amenorrhea, endometriosis, things like that, things that are based on more of a blood stagnation pattern. And oftentimes the nails are brittle because from a Chinese perspective, there's not enough blood getting to them because it's all pooled right here and stagnant and sharp and stabby pains.
So on that note, like we're talking about the nails, I think of the hair too, because they kind of all hair, skin, and nails all go together. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, it's usually hair thinning, hair loss, trouble with holding pregnancy, and that. Do you think that is also connected with the liver?
Yes, it is. In Chinese medicine, we would look directly to the liver, and we would look at blood stagnation in the liver. So we would use a lot of blood moving and qi moving herbs. Now with PCOS, why just stay classic when you have the gift of diagnostics now, the ultrasounds that'll say, oh, here's a cyst on this poor soul's right ovary, and it's massive. Why not use some phlegm dissolving herbs, some herbs that will go in and actually cause that cyst to dissolve? And in addition, move the blood. And because this way you can get rid of it quicker. You don't have to be stuck with the symptoms.
Mm-hmm. That or even endometriosis, it seems like, with all the hormonal factors with it, that goes too.
Well, and endometriosis is a little bit different because we see that a lot in connection with co-infections.
Really? Okay.
Particularly with parasitic infections.
Okay.
I'll see a lot of what's the little parasite, the little roundworm that you get from changing litter boxes. It's a little roundworm. I can't think of the name of it. Ross Perot. No.
I can picture it on the slide.
We just lost another one.
Well, this kind of brings into another case that I have that's interesting. Patient is about my age, was on, hormone therapy at a younger age to keep everything level. Now is trying to start a family. Always has pain up in the shoulder region.
Right or left?
Right. And it's been ever since they got off the hormone therapy. And it seems that there's other things that are causing him a hard time holding a pregnancy or following it all the way through, but has that pain.
How's digestion?
I think all right. I don't think that's ever been a complaint.
Any allergies or sensitivities?
Seasonal, I would say.
Any headaches?
Yes.
Where are the headaches?
I want to say it's here and eyes.
Are those seasonal or are those year-round?
I think those are year-round. I think that was more of a frequent thing.
So they might not have food allergies, but they have food sensitivities because all of this right in through here on the forehead is dealing with digestion.
Is there a reason when they're on the hormone therapy that it wouldn't present as much?
When it's in the eyes, it's liver. And the liver and the digestion are so closely linked that one kind of feeds the other. So when you're on hormone therapy, half of our neurotransmitter serotonin is produced in our gut, right? Neurotransmitters, some of them are actually hormones specifically. So when you're on hormone replacement therapy, it's not just going to affect the one hormone, it's going to affect all of the hormones.
Okay.
It's going to affect how hormones are affecting the liver. And think about it. What is a hormone? A hormone is a means of communication between tissues and organs, between systems. That's what a hormone is. It's an expression of communication. So when you put someone on hormone blocking medication, what are you doing? Now the systems can't talk to each other. Now the tissues can't talk to each other. Now you're going to have stagnation because what do we do? We just sit here. And you're not going to fix things. You're actually going to create other problems. You might cause a specific situation to improve. But overall, things are going to get worse. Does that happen every time? No, not every time. Because someone's going to write in and say, Dr. Wolf, I'm so upset with you because it worked really great for me. I'm happy for you. You are the exceptional exception. And that's great. But for most people, it creates other problems. So Cindy in Pytown, great question. And I would strongly recommend getting in with a qualified chiropractor, a qualified oriental medical practitioner, somebody that looks a little deeper than the normal stuff. One of the things that I like about this chiropractor right here that's super cool, she's not a high-volume chiropractor. You don't want a high-volume chiropractor. You don't want somebody that sees 100 people a day. You want someone that sees 12 to 14 people a day.
That it's specific cases that you're working on.
Specific cases. Someone that doesn't just spend 5 minutes snapping and cracking. Somebody that sits down, palpates each and every time. Somebody that has the ability to take their time and dig in and research. So I don't know what the medical community there is in Pie Town, Cindy, but I would do a little research, ask around, talk to the docs. Talk to them and say, what kind of acupuncture do you do? Where's your training? What is your training in? Are you a high volume chiropractor? How much time do you spend with your patients? Find someone that fits you. Two things about this next question. Number one, the question. Number two, the name and the location are so stereotypical for one another.
Really?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Cali in San Diego. Cali with a K.
That's cute.
That's
perfect.
That's phenomenal. That fits. Now, number one, would you believe someone in Ohio, someone in Pie Town of all places, and now somebody in San Diego watches this show? I don't believe it. I'm not sure where you found this show. Callie in San Diego writes in, and now the question's hilarious. Don't drink coffee yet because you'll snort it out your schnoz, which would make great viewing. But I'm here for you. I'm thinking of your well-being and the well-being of your septum. Callie writes, what did Dr. Mo call himself at the beginning of the August 25th show? Number one, if you are cataloging what's going on which shows, Callie, you've got way too much time on your hands. Go to the Comic-Con. I think they have Comic-Cons in San Diego. Isn't that where they have the big one?
I think so.
That's probably why you're cataloging what's going on our shows. I have no idea what you were responding to, what you were referring to. So I had to go back. And it was the show right when I got back from Montana. And I said something in the Northern Cheyenne dialect, which, by the way, they told me to cease and desist. Don't use Northern Cheyenne lingo anymore.
Mail first, huh?
Well, they didn't send it by mail.
Oh,
they sent it by Pony Express.
Oh, okay. That would be noticeable.
What I said, and I'm not gonna. It's como, and I can never pronounce the last word. I make it sound more Hebrew than Cheyenne. What it means is little beard, wee little beard. So that's what I said on
You've
August
had one.
25th.
Did you start it before you went out there?
I started it a while before I went out there.
Yeah.
It's just it takes me a while to grow a beard.
And now I look at pictures of you without the beard and
you say, wow, that's when he was 12.
No, I would never.
I had to grow a beard to look my age.
Hey, if I'm calling you 12, then I guess I'm 9.
No, you'd be more like
not born yet.
Well, back in my day, we went uphill both ways to go to school, and it was 80 below, and then we... Actually, when I was a kid, we had a guy that drove the bus, and his name was Gramps. And he had, I think he only had one tooth. Seriously. He always wore his cowboy hat. And when it was raining or snowing, he had a garbage sack rubber banded around his cowboy hat.
You gotta take care.
Yeah, it was a nice hat. And he would roll up, and I would be out there waiting, and my sister would be still getting her lunch or something, and he'd say, "Is your sister ready? She gotta come down here." And I'd say, "I don't know. I ain't waiting forever." "That's fine. It's okay." And I'd sit down, and then here'd come my sister, and there'd be these long legs and hair flying, and he'd just kind of laugh. She'd get on the bus, and then he'd scold her, "You gotta get down here on time." And then when he'd drop us off in the afternoon, and this happened every time, he'd keep the bus just rolling a little bit, and then he'd slam on the brakes, and you'd go flying. And he particularly liked doing that to my older sister. I think that's because her hair would go like Superman's cape. But that was Gramps. And at the end of the year, I think it was him. He would buy a couple bags of Lay's potato chips and pass them around the bus.
Aw.
That's back when they could do that. He's also the guy that scolded me because I would get off the bus coming home early. I'd get let off the bus about a half mile away from the ranch, the drive for the ranch, because then I would get off and I would wait till the bus left, crawl down under the bridge, and I'd hang out under the bridge for an hour or two, catching fish with my hands and just playing in the creek, the Scalcahoe Creek.
Is that how you met Saul?
No.
Oh.
That's how I met the game warden. Seriously. I got home and my dad had already had a phone call from him. I might as well finish the story.
I think so.
And my dad said, boy, if you ever see a green pickup truck, run.
That's accurate. That's true.
That's when they were driving the old Cheyenne Chevy pickup trucks, and they were like a real light mint green.
Mm-hmm. Sticks out,
and it turned your stomach and made your blood run cold. Oh, I'm in trouble. Guilty conscience. Here's one. Here's a question from someone local. Make sure nobody's been trying to call us. Nobody's tried to call us. I think this is going to be a write-in show from here on. We'll leave the phone out there in case you want to call us. 608-314-8791.
People are just scared to talk on the phone nowadays. I even have patients like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk on the phone. It's just like, we talk when we're together. They're like, it's different. I'm like, okay.
You can also send carrier pigeons to 839 Harding Street. Pony Express works too, except make sure they're not riding in shooting.
You can send ducks too. I love those.
The duck lady. You know what they call it? No, actually, I think never mind. I think you gave me that joke. Someone who takes care of chickens?
Yeah.
They're a chicken tender.
Well.
Oh, that's so sweet and sour. Janie from Delavan, Wisconsin. That's like right over there.
Mm-hmm. Not far.
We've had Ohio. We've had Pie Town. Ohio's way that way. Pie Town's that way. San Diego's way that way, just a couple degrees off. And then Janie, back that way. Janie says, oh, this is cool. This fits with something we've already spoken about. Super cool. Where were we?
What did she want?
608-314-8791 if you have any questions. Or, never mind. Janie from Delavan writes, I have black spots. I got the black spot.
Uh-oh.
It was delivered to me. I was at the pub, and someone came in, and they gave me a slip of paper with the black spot. Now I'm on the run. She didn't write that.
Run. That's not good.
If someone gives you a black spot on a piece of paper and they've got one leg and a hook in their other, run.
Yep.
Go
That's not
underground. Get with the FBI Witness Protection Program. They coming for you. Young John Silver. By the way, when he got out of piracy, he went into the restaurant business.
He shouldn't be making cheese curds though, and with his fish. That's just wrong.
That's kind of gross.
That's just wrong.
Proceed. A black spot we give ye. I have black spots in me vision. My doctor says they are floaters, and there isn't much that can be done for them. Yeah, that sounds about right for I'm not going to say the word.
Mm-mm.
For those kinds of doctors. I went to my eye doctor, who said the same. Did you say you're just really depressing to talk to, doctor? I just don't believe that there's nothing that can be done. You would be correct. Do you know what this is and how to get rid of it? Well, since you went to your eye doctor, and I'm assuming they did an exam and verified that your retina is not detached and floating around, yes, there's a pathology in Chinese medicine that speaks to floaters in the vision. Did you have anything in chiropractic medicine?
We went over the different ones. I mean, is it little broken blood vessels in the eyes? From what they saw in their exam, I have a otoscope, ophthalmic scope. I can look as well and see.
Say that again.
Otoscope or ophthalmic scope? Ophthalmic?
Say it one more time.
Ophthalmic?
Makes you sound so
Thought you were going to correct
professional.
me there. Thought you were going to correct me there. When I can look in it, there are different ways things present. You can be diabetic and you can have a certain presentation. There's all different ones.
Here's why I refuse to use my ophthalmic scope. I don't like being this close to people.
Mine has a little tube on it that it goes I look in one and then you're in the other.
That's handy.
It's the cheater version that we all learned with.
It's the social distancing version.
Kind of.
I just don't like people invading my space. Hey, get your foot away from me. And I don't like people invading other people's space.
And I'm the opposite. I adjust somebody and we're good friends quick. Kind of got the opposite thing going.
So yeah, if they've done the examination and we've determined that it's not structural damage, it's just pathologic at that point. In Chinese medicine, we've already touched on this. There is a pathology that speaks to floaters in the vision. Sound like an Anglican priest, don't I? A rabbi, an Anglican priest. Never mind.
Super cool.
Liver blood deficiency. Again, the liver opens to the eyes in Chinese medicine, which is a very eloquent way of saying it has this very strong effect on the eyes. And so if there are spots in the vision, black floaters that are going around, don't
Your
judge
eyes
me.
move really cool right there. I don't know if I can do that with mine. But
Well, it's probably all the caffeine. No, I feel like I'm running in place. When there's not enough blood in the liver, you will get these spots in the eyes. Sometimes you will have lesions in the liver. Lesions in the liver, lesions in the liver, lesions in the liver is true. That can be flukes. And I'm not talking flukes like my brother. He was a fluke. Mom and dad said, whoops. What a fluke. Will, if you're watching, next time you're here from Maine, you can beat me up. Kick me down a flight of stairs or something, whatever trips your trigger.
You got pictures of him?
No, we're not allowed to take pictures.
Oh, he doesn't believe in that, huh?
It's not. No, that's not it.
It's not going to steal his soul.
The government has forbidden us. They've made us all sign waivers. You will not take pictures of him. We don't need any more record out there. They really do care about the gene pool. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. Mr. and Mrs. Wolf, please do not procreate. Too late. They had 3 of us. Then they gave up, and then they went to prefab. You see, I tell my little sisters, I have 6 little sisters that are adopted, and I tell them, you guys are lucky. You were chosen. We were the luck of the draw, and it didn't work out so great. Oh, super cool. I'm running out of coffee. So in the vision, you get these floaters. I'm back on that now, aren't I?
Yes.
You get these floaters, and they are symptomatic of lack of blood in the liver, and that can be symptomatic of lesions. That can be symptomatic of flukes and other parasites. It can be symptomatic of gynecological distress. Gynecological disorders would be the correct word. it's symptomatic of something deeper going on.
Yep.
So again, Janie, just like Cindy, Janie and Cindy, you guys should get together. I know they make sump pumps in Delavan. I don't know what they make in Pie Town.
Pie.
Don't judge them.
Pie.
That's so stereotyping of them.
What kind of
Shame
pie?
on you.
3.14.
You. Whoa. So gangsta of you. But do you know any of the other digits beyond 3.14?
All of them.
Care to demonstrate? I
go.
refuse.
You just start rambling like you're an auctioneer, and you're probably right.
No. So again, you need to see somebody that practices Chinese medicine in this case, or somebody that practices some really good functional medicine that can check you for parasites, that can check you for hormonal disorders, that can check you for nutrient deficiencies. But make sure they're sharp enough to not say, oh, we have a hormonal imbalance, we need to increase progesterone. They need to ask the question, why is the progesterone low? Well, the thyroid. Okay, but why is the thyroid out of whack? We were not made to just go out of whack, go whee, flying off into left field. Let me ask you, you're a chiropractor.
Yes.
How often does someone have a subluxation just spontaneously? No cause, no contributing factors.
Never.
Never.
That's like we like to hold. We like to hold. That's why, well, with mine, you're usually treating the same pattern until you break the pattern.
Say that again.
You're treating the same pattern.
What's that word?
Pattern.
Pattern. Pattern. Look for somebody that looks for patterns. Don't just look at a symptom. You need to see the pattern that the symptoms are part of.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't treat that pattern, you're never going to break the cycle.
Yes. And with our eye question too, is it a true floater or is it an actual blockage in your vision where you're missing this area? True.
That should have been discovered on the exam.
Yes.
That should have been discovered on the exam. Next question. Edward from Minneapolis. We just get around this little show. That's impressive.
We're lovable.
Edward from Minneapolis says, my wife refuses to go to the acupuncturist. She does not sleep at night and is driving me crazy. Please save my marriage and tell me something that will get my wife to the acupuncturist. You didn't know we'd be marriage counselors today, did you?
He's asking for a lot there. We can maybe help her get her
Okay.
in.
There's this guy in Minneapolis, and he shows up in a white panel van, and he can take someone wherever you want to dump them. Seriously, Edward in Minneapolis. I would say 85% of my patients are terrified of needles.
And that really surprised me when you told me that.
They come in their first visit, they're like this. No, I'm afraid. You know how long it took me to get here, you little jerk. And then they open their eyes, and I've got 3 or 4 needles in them already, and they say, "Oh, silly me! I knew it all along." At a certain point, the person's got to get miserable enough that they're willing to try anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can go to the acupuncturist, you can have her come with you and watch, and she'll go, "Oh, that's terrible."
I get that with chiropractic too. Somebody comes with them, and depending how I'm adjusting, if it's more by hand, by the time I get to the neck, it's always usually they're looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's human fears.
Yeah. But exposure does go a long way.
Mhm.
Desperation goes a long way. So if you can get the patient in, if you can get your wife in, not necessarily for acupuncture, but maybe an herbal consult. Maybe she needs some Shazandra Triple Z. Maybe she needs some Swanzal Rentang. Maybe she needs some Xiao San. Woohoo! Maybe she needs something to just shut this off. Maybe she's got Lyme disease.
That could be.
Maybe
Very
she's got
likely.
racing thoughts because of biotoxins that are in her system. In which case, watch our previous shows. Wow. People are actually commenting. That's great. I have no idea what the context
Hi,
is,
Nikki.
but thank you for context. Thank you for commenting. But that doesn't get you in the role for our conundrum, this week's conundrum. You have to write down, comment either here or email us info@siloamcenter.com. And you've got to tell us what the diagnosis is. And I don't know what the and is. Anyway, you have just wasted a perfectly good hour. And it's one of the most fun hours of the week for me.
It is.
I still have some coffee left.
Super cool.
I might as well finish it. Thank you for the coffee, by the way.
Of course.
I'm freeloading off the dock. Thank you for joining us. If you have any other questions, feel free to text them, Facebook them, YouTube them, Pony Express them,
You can
carrier
send
pigeon them.
that Mustang, though.
A 1967. What color do you like? I always liked their green. That
that-
Kelly
yeah,
green.
yeah.
That Ford Kelly green from that era was mwah!
My first car rusted out this week.
I'm
Bless
sorry.
her soul. So yeah, if you really want to send that Mustang over,
1967 Mustang with the answer written under the hood in silver Sharpie.
it'll never replace Smokey, but you know what? Looks like a lot of fun.
Needs to be a manual though, right? Manual transmission.
Oh yeah.
Don't come on, be a purist. If you're gonna go that far, at least be a purist and say, all right, give the girl a manual transmission. She can do it. She can handle it.
There might be a few burnouts, but that's part of the fun.
So if you have your answer, send it in. And if we read your answer on air next week, you will get Carrie will call you and we will give you your option of something to pick from our apothecary. So it might be a vitamin D. It might be a rescue balm.
Could be elderberry syrup.
It could be elderberry syrup. It could be any number of things. She'll give you a list of things to choose from. And then she'll start going, do, 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 do. And you have to make your decision before do, 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 boom, boom. So, till next week, thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with us. And thank you for your questions. That's what keeps us going. And just before the neighbors blow their horn, Michael, blow your horn. Trains going by. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.